Hi, my name is Ryan Tibbetts. I'm going to teach you how to code some the right way. Generally speaking, in college, they teach you how to start with actual software or teaching you binary. These things are utterly useless and don't actually help you do what you need to do. Hopefully, we can cover some of the things that you'll actually need to know for coding and can get you started, at least on an IT career. So first things first, we're going to need the environment. Now, notice how I have a folder open. I'm on the desktop. This is what we're going to learn how to use. Not a folder, but we're going to learn how to use navigation through this without clicks and a visual interface, like right here. Instead, we're going to use something called command prompt or a terminal. This is a command prompt. Now, I don't use command prompt because it's Windows and I code primarily in Linux. And Linux is kind of where you want to be as far as being able to use a command prompt kind of thing. Or you can also call it a terminal. And the reason why is because cloud technology is generally handled in Linux, so you might find yourself coding on a Linux computer if you do end up coding seriously. So to get in a situation where you're on a Windows and you can code in a Linux terminal environment, you just got to go download, get for Windows. There it is, get for Windows, click the download button and open it up. If you're on a Linux or you're on a Mac, you don't have to worry about this. So, now that we're staring at this empty abyss, this is just for Windows users. You'll be somewhere that doesn't make sense. This doesn't make any sense. But let's start with the commands anyways. First off, I used a command called ls. ls means list. List allows you to see your environment around you. It allows you to show what folders you're looking at, what files you're looking at, and what you have access to. We need to get to the desktop because that's where I want to work on all this stuff, and honestly that's where you should want to work on this stuff too for now. So let's begin by getting there. To move around, we change directory. Now literally you will type in change directory in abbreviated form. CD, change directory. Directory meaning folder. They're synonymous. So we're going to change directory to the desktop. But to get to the desktop, we need to go to the root. If you're ever lost and you don't know where to go, just type in cd root and you're good to go because you will be where you need to be. Boom. You can see I have documents, downloads, desktop, all your standard folders that you see when you actually open up your file system like this. You can see they're all right there. Now I want to go into the desktop. So how do I get into the desktop? I'm going to change directory to the desktop. Now I'm not going to type in the whole word because if you press tab after typing enough, it'll just autofill it for you. Now I typed it twice the first time, tab, and it gave me desktop and dev because they both have DE in them. So I added an S, and now when I press tab, it gives me desktop because that's the only thing that has DES. Alright, so now I'm in desktop, and I want to go back to the root just for the sake of kind of explaining how this works. To go back to the root, I'm going to press cd ... Now let me explain what we're doing here and what dot means. Now if I said cd dot, I'm in the desktop still because dot means root. It means take me where I am. Dot is I'm here. Dot means here. So dot means the root, the parent, the root of the root, the parent. So the parent of desktop is tilde, which is the root. Okay? So let's go back into desktop and let's talk about how to make a folder because we want an environment to work in. So remember this, mkdir. No, not like that, mkdir. There we go. Mkdir, make directory, mkdir. We're going to make a directory called testDirectory. TestDirectory1, I don't know, whatever. We're going there. And if I type ls, you can see testDirectory1. I don't know how to pronounce that. I probably should have thought that through. Whatever. We're just going to go into it. All right, there's nothing in here right now, but we're going to mess around in here. So first things first, we talked about how to make directories. Let's make 2 more directories. mkdir test1. And if I just press up, I just press the up arrow right there. That's all I did. Press up, down, up, down, up, down. We're going to make test2. All right, there they are. So let's, now you can move anywhere. So technically I could go cd dot 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 and take me, well, that doesn't make sense. Here, let's go into test1. cd test1. All right, so I'm in test1. There's nothing in here. I want to leave, but I can actually do this. I can leave and go to test2 from test1 in one line, because you can go anywhere with change directory. And in the same sense, you can also make anything with mkdir and all that stuff. Now we've kind of filled up our terminal here, so I'm going to use a command called clear, so that we have it nice and fresh and we can look at everything. You might want to leave it open so you can look at your previous commands, because you might not be where I am yet, but let's keep going. All right, so now test1, test2, I want to make a file in test1 and test2, so I'm going to say touch touch. I can do this. There we go, touch test1.txt. You always want to give a file tag, because otherwise it's going to be a raw plain text file and it's not going to be as useful. So touch test1/test1.txt. Now notice I'm not in test1, so I'm making a file in test1 outside test1. So touch test1 and then test1. So I'm pathing to the file that I'm making it, basically. Now there it is. Go into test1. And sure enough, there's test1.txt. And now let's make another one in test2. Touch test2 test2.txt. ls test2 ls. Boom. All right, cool. All right. So we've shown that you can make directories, make files. Now you can make more than just text files. That was just an example. You can make JavaScript files, PHP files, HTML files. You can do all of it from here. But you can also move them. Now, you don't use this very often, but you can move them. So let's move test1.txt to test2.txt. So move test1.txt to test2.txt. All right, and let's move test2.txt to test1. Oh, hold on, I messed that up earlier. There we go. Oh. Ooh, what did I do? Uh-oh. I did something I didn't understand. Sometimes this happens in life, and you can Google it, or you can move on, because I don't care enough. All right, see, test2. Whatever. We moved test2 into... We moved test1.txt inside of test2.txt, which doesn't make sense, but the computer didn't care. It did it anyways. And then we moved test2.txt into test1. So test1 fizzled when we moved it into test2. So moral of the story, don't move test1.txt into test2.txt. Always move your stuff into a file directory, and this won't happen. Okay. All right, so we've talked about making folders, making files, moving files. You can move folders as well. Changing directories, listing things inside of a directory, and last but not least, deleting things. So we're in test2. There's nothing in here. CD. Blah, blah. All right. So to delete a folder, you say rmdir, and since test2 is empty, boom, we can do this. Test2 is deleted. Woo! Now, if I try to do this with test1, say you can't do this. Okay, it's because you have to empty it out. So let's go into test1, and let's delete a file. So just rm, not rmdir, because that's just a regular file, test2.txt. It's gone. cd back. Now, we could just delete test1, but let's not do that just yet, because I want to teach you the last thing, which is deleting a folder with stuff in it that you don't want. So now there is testerion, we're going to delete it. So rmdir, there we go. Can't do it because there's stuff inside of it. So we're going to say rm-r testDirectory, and it's deleted. That concludes my lesson for today. Wait, does it? Okay, so that's it. That's all I'm going to teach you for today. You don't really need to know much else. There is, I guess, one other command you could use. Here, I'll show you. Cat quick start guide. I don't know what I just did, but this might go on for a while. Have a nice day.